3, 2, 1. It's the Villains Talk Show with C4, Sarah Vike, Insanieac, Sir Jeremy. Sir Jeremy, me, and the Great Grease Goblin. The Villains Talk Show. Hello and welcome to the Villains Talk Show. I am C4. Beside me is Sarah Vike. Further down is the Great Grease Goblin. Below them is Sir Jeremy. And finally, back from the Nether Realm, Insanieac. Hello.
Hi.
We are your hosts of the Villains Talk Show, where we meet every week and talk about random things or do random things. For example, next Wednesday we're playing Risk. Be there for that. We don't often.
We're risking that?
There is a bit of a risk. Oh, yay! Insanieac is in the chat. Everyone's happy. Everyone's good. So, hello, and things happy. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. I know most of North America, except where we are, is bloody fucking cold. So, I hope.
It's chilly.
I hope
it's not
you're
exactly warm here either.
Guys, if it's not minus 20, it's not cold. Okay?
It was minus 20 with the wind chill.
No, it wasn't. It was minus 18.
Plus the wind chill.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was minus 13 with the wind chill was minus 18.
I don't know.
You know what? I'm just gonna show you right now. I'm just gonna pull it up on the phone. I'm gonna go to the weather network. We're not gonna have this argument right now.
It doesn't count.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Minus 15.
Mine says minus 20.
And it says minus 18 with wind chill. Sorry, minus 16 with wind chill.
Mine says minus 21 with wind chill.
Yeah.
Okay, show it. I want to see the proof. I showed you my proof. Where's your proof?
I didn't look at yours.
How do I show you?
You pick up the phone and hold it up
It's
to
not on a phone. It's on my computer, man. I threw my phone over there.
Well, then I really don't believe you. There's no proof, then... It's like looking it up on Wikipedia. Wikipedia, what's the weather like today? Ah, minus 40. Yes, it is the middle of summer. That being said, today's topic was actually...
There, take a look. Is that going to work? No, that's not going to work.
What the hell is that? I don't know.
Stream I was trying to share.
I don't know what you just did. Wiki forecast meteors today. Ah, of course, meteors. That is the true death. But to kind of keep rolling things along, volcanoes. Volcanoes is not a weather thing. But then again, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to say anything. Volcanoes. Volcanoes. Anyway, today's topic is as ambiguous as the name is fights. We are all people. We've all gotten into fights before. Some more than others. I hope that's not me, but I've had a couple discussions with everyone beforehand, and I think it might be me, which kind of sucks.
It might be you.
It might be me. It just might. But yeah, fights, man. What do you gotta say? Most of the fights I've ever been in. Okay, let's preface this. Ever since I hit like 22, all the fights I've ever got into are intellectual fights. So any fights, like, ever since I basically grew up, literally, like, all the fights I've had were pretty much like verbal fights, and I'll get into some of them. And
you would have been 22 when I met you, so I want to feel like that's my influence on you. I'm sure it's not, but I'm gonna claim it anyways.
Yes, Sarah, you were in the forefront of my mind. Yes.
You were the only reason he stopped fighting people.
Exactly.
No, but I guess I will get it started. The last physical altercation that I was in was I was super drunk at a bar. There's a bar in Vancouver. It's still there. It's called Big Bad John's. Sorry, not Vancouver, Victoria. Now, every Thursday night, they have $1 beer nights. You get your little plastic cup, and all night, $1 draft. And I got stupid drunk. And one of the reasons I actually don't drink very much anymore, like I'll have a glass of wine or a shot, but I don't like to get drunk because I'm usually a very angry drunk. I know, hard to believe me, looking at me, but I'm a pretty angry drunk.
You're a big cuddly.
To my idiocy, I got so drunk at that bar, I go up, and there's this guy minding his own business, nothing to do with anything, and I go up and I rap him on the side of the head, like as hard as I can. Turns around, stands up, and he's a big boy. And him and his 4 other friends pick me up and take me down to the wharf in Victoria. And then I woke up the next morning with, like, bruises all over my face. I actually got kicked awake by the cops. All I remember is literally... Oh, yeah, no, don't. Like I said, this is the last time I got into a physical altercation. And I got literally the shit kicked out of me. Literally the shit kicked out of me. I remember getting dragged literally by my heels. It was like out of a bad movie. Literally by my heels by these 5 guys, and I don't remember what happened after. That was the last physical altercation I got into. Ever since then, I kind of made it a point to not get into physical altercations. If I'm going to beat someone up, I'm going to beat them with my words. That's not exactly the best way to deal with things, as we'll get into. But I mean, it definitely is a smarter way to do things than physical violence.
Yeah.
Let's go around the table. Last physical altercations, man. Start with the person who I know the answer is none, Sarah.
You are correct. I have never had a physical fight with anyone, though there have been many, many times that I've wanted to punch people. But I have always just felt like the consequences would be too high.
Insaniac, it's if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You have to beat people with words, you said.
What about you then, Mr. Goblin? Goblin. I keep saying it wrong. It's Goblin.
You do.
It's Goblin. It's the great Goblin. That's how I've written it. The Goblin.
The last I would have to say was like, I want to say it was actively like end of 2019.
Wow.
Only reason I remember this is because I had a shit-eating grin the next day at work, and I was working with Insanieac.
But you're so... Okay, well, tell me what happened first. Because I see you and I imagine you, and I know people can't really see you, but you are the definition of teddy bear. Like, look how fuzzy you are. Look how fuzzy you are. I just want to hug you.
Insaniac does remember that, and he seems really excited about it.
All right.
Let's hear the story.
Well, then tell us the story, Mr. I'm going to sit there and preemptively blue ball everyone.
Well, you see, it all started on a dark and cold night.
So, an average Canadian night. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
I had just gotten off work, and I had to walk to the train. So I got on the train.
Magical story so far.
It is. My headphones had died, so the guy... And so I could hear everything going on around me, which sucked. And then the guy across from me was, like, hitting on this random chick. And I rolled my eyes. And it was like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. Then he got up and tried to punch me.
So wait. Just so I'm clear. He said that to you.
Yes.
And then he got up and tried to punch you.
Yes.
Okay, please continue.
Sounds insane.
He got a nice little punch in, but he thought I was smaller than I am. Because I slouch a lot.
It's bad for your back, by the way. You're going to give yourself a hump.
Oh, I know. And then, so I stood up, and he was down in one punch.
Boy.
And then he got off the train, the tail between his legs at the next stop.
Damn.
I got that girl's number 2.
Ooh, wow.
Damn.
Good day.
That sounds like a great day for you.
It was. And then the next day I had a fat lip, and I walked in with the biggest shit-eating grin.
That happens. I know that feeling. All right. Insanieac. I'm guessing. Oh, I guess he's in the chat. So.
Yes, I did.
What about you, Jeremy? The night of nights. Tell us about the last physical altercation you got into. Sorry, I'll wipe the grin. Tell us about.
Suck. They're all stupid.
It is pretty stupid.
Yeah, it is pretty stupid. The last one was on my birthday.
Yep.
That was great.
Tell the whole world why you got beat up on your birthday. It's the dumbest thing, guys.
So dumb.
Like, just so people know in chat, like, who are watching, like, this story, it makes...
I never heard of this story.
I forgot that this happened.
Yeah, no, this is the one where the ex was doing a bikini car wash and needed too much attention, basically ignored me on my fucking birthday. And then when I wanted to go home at, like, fucking 10 o'clock, she pretended her car was broken down. And then I got pissed. Sat in the fucking car for a minute, because she, I don't know, wanted me out of her car for whatever reason. She's getting drunk by this point. Literally hailed over a group of bikers to kick me out of her car. So I got out of the car. I explained to the bikers what the fuck's going on. It's my birthday, and I just want to go home. My ex is being a fucking cunt. So, and I don't use that word lightly. Go inside to call a cab and buy a beer to fucking wait for this cab when fucking I get approached by 2 bikers who literally just punch fucked me out the front door. Yeah, and that was pretty much the end of my relationship.
What?
Wow. Yeah, I never heard the whole story.
Bitch, man. She's your girlfriend and she gets you beat up on your goddamn birthday. God! Oh, it's rough. It's rough beyond measure. I mean, I don't call them as fights, but I've gone, I guess, I mean, to be real, like at my bar, because to my viewers who don't know, I own a bar. That's what I do in my life. I'm a cook, and me and my parents, we own a bar together. And there have been a couple times where I've gotten between bar fights. I never threw a punch myself, but like 2 guys start throwing fists, 2 truckers start throwing fists because it's a trucker bar. And I've walked in, like, there's one guy, he called himself Rage. Like, that's all I need to explain. He said
he sounds like a pleasant man.
He introduced himself to me and my mother as, "Hey, my name's Rage." And we're like, "Oh, okay." Anyway,
it's gonna be a wonderful day already.
So he gets really drunk. He gets into a fight. I get between him and the guys fighting, and Rage punches me in the face. Okay, I just look at him, and he looks at me, says he's sorry, and he leaves. The next day, this guy, just walks into the bar and is just crying. Just like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get that drunk. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Dude, it's fine. It's fine. Here's the deal. You're not allowed to drink in my bar anymore. You could come and play the machines. You could come and order food. But for the next little while, man, you're not going to get a chance to drink." 3 months later. Okay? 3 months later. Rage is back at the bar. You know, he's been good for 3 months. We let him drink. The day we let him drink, he gets into another fucking fight and the same thing happens. I get between them, and he almost punches me this time and stops. He just looks at me, he's like, oh, I did bad. I'm like, yeah, you fucking did. You can fucking leave now.
Wow.
And once again, you're fucking done, son.
Or like truckers are old guys, right? Like there's no such thing as a young trucker. They're all like the average age of 50.
Yeah.
So like some truckers are like unbelievably racist and overtly racist. So there's a lot of Indian truckers, right? And so they'll come into my bar and there'll be a bunch of guys sitting in the corner drinking, minding their own business, and then fat dumb white butt trucker will come in and be like, "Oh, those goddamn Indian," and look at them and say it as loud as he can. And I look at the guy and I'm like, we've asked guys to leave and they're like, "Oh, you're defending them." I'm like, no, it's not about defending them. It's about human decency. We're not telling you to like bend over backwards for people you don't like, but tolerance means you don't act like a piece of shit in front of these people. Like don't get me wrong, I'll take your money, but you're gonna sit down, shut the fuck up, and drink your beer and not say a goddamn thing to any of my other patrons.
That seems fair.
Why is that so hard?
Yeah.
No, that is
surprised.
It is incredibly hard. I've gotten into many, in between many altercations. I've never gotten to one at my bar. Thank God. Oh well, let's ask the chat if anyone wants to input. You can write in your favorite fight stories, and we'll read them on stream. I will talk about my, I got into a lot of fights. High school is horrible for me. In one sense, I was telling Jeremy a story earlier. One of my favorite stories is, okay, so people who don't know, I'm Jewish, okay? And one of the things growing up in an inner city high school is kids, they'll pick up on that and they'll try to tear into you for whatever reason. Anyway, but I'm also a metalhead. So I had this buddy, and by 17 he moved out. And he had his own place. And one thing is my buddy hung out with a bunch of skinheads that I would never go near. Because why the fuck would I go near them? Well, one day, my buddy, he asked me to come over and hang out. Me and my buddy Chris. And my buddy Chris is First Nations, and we're good friends. So we're both like, okay, let's go over. And we go over, and he's having a party with nothing but skinheads. And I walk into the fucking party, and my buddy Chris is already friends with all of them. So they all don't care about him. But my buddy looks like, oh yeah, this is my Jewish friend John. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bud? So at this point, I'm like, fuck it. I'm already in the house. And they poke me and they make fun of me. But I ain't no fucking wilting flower. I'm a big fucking kid. I'm like fucking 300 pounds at 17. So and I'm smart. So I lash back. I called one kid... One kid was making fun of me. I'm like, look, man, make fun of me all you want. At least my head doesn't look like a fucking aging old testicle. And I would rip into them. And they'd laugh. And I'm like, okay, so I'm fine. And then at one point, this one fucker who just won't lay off me is like, oh, you're such a pussy. I'll fucking beat you up. And I'm like, let's go, bud. Like, fuck, I have nothing better to do. Fuck it, let's go. And in my mind, as soon as I say that, I was telling Jeremy, I'm like, oh, I made a mistake. Because I can't win the fight. If I win, I am in a house full of skinheads. So I can't win. But I can't lose either. So I put myself in this horrible position where I'm about to fight this guy, and he puts up his fist. And I've taken boxing, so I know how to fight. So the guy comes in, tries to punch me, and as hard as I can... full haymaker, open palm slap. Right across the face. And of course that makes him even more mad. So then Buddy just keeps trying to fight me. And every chance I get, open hand slap right across the face. Eventually he gets so mad he takes me down and tries to put me in a chokehold. Tries to grapple me, keeps trying to punch me. And every time I just wiggle a hand free, find his cheek, and then just keep slapping his cheek. And eventually he's so mad that he just fucking screams at me, why the fuck do you keep slapping me? And my first response was, I don't hit bitches. And Everyone in that fucking party just started laughing. He started laughing so hard he fucking let go of me. And yeah, I had a pretty good night after that. And I remember going outside for a smoke and being like, oh God, oh, how did I find my way out of there? How did I do that? Oh man. And I didn't drink or nothing. This was all just dumb 17-year-old me getting myself into really thick trouble and just somehow barely finding a way out. It's still one of my favorite stories. Insaniac. I don't think I've gotten a fight since junior high. It wasn't a fight though. It was just the last time I put my hands on someone. I had this teacher who gave me a hard time about standing up to this kid who annoyed me. Teacher and left this kid, pushed again. I grabbed his collar, threw him over my shoulder into a wall. He fell out of the class into the hall. The teacher saw down the hall and came running to saying he didn't have the right thing, not fighting back after he's been shitting on me for months. I had a teacher like that in junior high, man. This kid would lay into me every day. Same reason too, because I was fat and I was Jewish, and that was all he had on me. And I'm a big kid, and I would and they would do it overtly in front of the teachers. He'd be like, he's like, oh, you mean he would just be overt in class and never hide it. And the teachers would be like, oh, you need to stop. Oh, you need to stop. And I'd look around like, is that all you're gonna fucking do? This is funny. I got suspended too for what I'm about to say, but only for 2 days. Eventually, this kid, I had enough of him, and I took my pencil and I just put the lead out, like in one of those mechanical pencils, and in the middle of him making fun of me, and I just screamed, I've had enough, you fucking Nazi. And I fucking slammed my pencil into his fucking leg and broke the tip, so that all that lead went into his fucking leg. And the teacher came over, saw what I did, and he's like, oh, well, Jonathan, I thought you were better than that. And I looked at him and was like, you know what, Mr. Oh, I almost said his name. You know what, Mr. Teacher? I am better than that. But I'll tell you what, I'll be better when you get braces. And I got suspended for 2 days. Man,
I'm glad I didn't teach you.
Here's the thing, though, Sarah. I'm very respectful to teachers that showed me respect.
Okay.
And it wasn't like I show you respect first and then you respect me. It was, no, I don't know who the fuck you are. So I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated, which is respectfully. You piss me off, well then it's all out the window. It's your job to gain your respect back with me, not me with you. I am the kid. I don't know better. At least I was at the time. That was my mentality.
In that case, we would have gone along just fine. Yeah. You always hear people talk about how men and women fight differently, and I can tell you, it's true. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, John. At least the women that I know. Man, it is, that story that you just told really drives it home, too. Like, you guys beat each other up a little, you slapped him a bunch of times, and then made them laugh. And then it stopped. For women, that would have never stopped. They would have never touched each other. But they would have just been mad at each other for years. And it would have just been this thing boiling under the surface, this rage. Just forever. And it's the most frustrating thing. So when I fight people, it tends to end up being like that. I would love to just hit them and have it be over with. But it's sort of not how things tend to work.
I get what you mean. And I understand. I mean, one of my most proud moments, I guess. No, it's here or there. Was in university. I've definitely told you this story before. Was in university. I was in a global politics class, and I have a friend, and she's in the class with me, and it's global politics. The teacher, great guy. He's from Ghana. He was doing. He was living in Canada for like a 4-year term teaching at the university, global politics. And of course, we're talking about racism and colonialism. I mean, It's the whole reason I took the class. And it's not the topic that matters, actually, because I everything was fine. I learned a lot in that class. There was one day my friend, and she was a white blonde girl, and she put her hand up and made a comment, which was fine. It was nothing bad. It was just a comment on literature and what she took from it. This girl, I won't say her name and I will not say her nationality. She immediately stood up right after my friend's comment and said to the class, "Oh, don't worry, guys. I allow her to say that. I give her permission to say that." And I remember, and I'm usually pretty good in class, but I was so disgusted by that statement. I remember turning around and just looking at her and saying, "Look, man, I've known skinheads and racists my whole life. That was the most racist thing I think I've ever heard in person." And of course, this girl and half the class just blow up on me. "Oh, she's not racist. It can't be racist. You just don't understand." And I'm sitting there like, I think I fucking understand. I think I understand what racism is. Considering, like, either I'm either on the butt end of the joke or I'm on the other end. That's the one thing about being a white Jew, is you're either being racist towards or you are racist. It's like there's no middle ground for me. So I know both sides of that argument. And so I'm sitting there, and we're only like 30 minutes into class, of an hour and a half class. And our professor he yells everyone to shut up. And I look back at him, and he's actually in tears. Like, he's actually crying. This big guy. And he tells the class, he's like, "Just so everyone knows, Jonathan is correct. You can all leave now. I'm dismissing class for the day." And all of a sudden, everyone in that class, their jaws just fell open. And they all left. I waited till they all left because I couldn't stand the look at them. And then after, I ended up spending another hour with my professor talking about it. We talked to, like, just me and him in class. We just talked race politics. And, like, how it's become, like, and this was back in 2015. So it's definitely changed since then. But at the time when it was burgeoning, this idea, it's nothing, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not against any kind of equality. I'm all for equality. I am a all or nothing kind of guy. If you're going to tell me equality, then it's equality. It's not what I perceive as vengeance, which is, so we've been mistreated for so long, so what we're going to do is now mistreat you. I understand that feeling. I'm not going to disparage it. I'm not going to say it's wrong. I understand that feeling. But that's not the correct feeling. The correct feeling is to high road them, to show them the way you act with class. And that's something I grew up knowing. That's something I was taught. And so when I don't see that, and it became, like, for a while there, I'm sure everyone got a glimpse of it, it got so bad. It got so bad. And it became a norm for a little bit. And it was nice to have my professor, this global politics professor he had a doctorate in global politics from Ghana, who I could go and talk to, and we would treat each other like people rather than, yeah. That was one of my favorite and scariest arguments, because the entire class, all 57 kids, even my friend who I was trying to defend, they were all on top of me. The only person who defended me was the professor who's spent their lives studying this. And that scared me. That really scared me. I missed a bunch of Insaniac's quotes.
Yeah, Insaniac is good to say.
Last time I got close enough to a fight, my friend was getting screamed at, talking to the guy just his wife and birthed about. This random dude on the train station got heated, saying they were acting as cop bait when I was on the phone with him. I was just around the other car, so I ran like hell over to the back him up. I dropped my bag so it didn't get used to a weapon. I got a steal to calm down and was choked, blah, blah, blah. First hostile move made. The guy turned around and freaked out because he didn't know I was being sneaky. I was like, fuck yeah, this is my friend, and I'm making sure he's okay.
Gave us death glares after they walked to the other side of the station. This thing sounds crazy.
And yeah, no, it totally was mob mentality. And it's crazy. But I mean, I don't know if anyone's had that kind of experience. I've like I said, I've always lived my life that I don't, if you're going to push me, I'm going to push back. Maybe not physically anymore, but I've become educated enough that I'm going to push back. Like, one of the things I do all the time, which is why I call myself a villain, is I take devil's advocate. Like, personally, just so we're clear, and there's no fog on this, I am for abortion. But if I'm in a room of a bunch of people who are for abortion, I'm going to argue against it. Not because I believe in it, but because it deepens my understanding if I am arguing against you and I can defend it. Because if I can defend something I don't believe in, then I understand it well enough to defend and to not like it. Now that's a personal thing. That's just how I live. But at the same time, as I'm sure anyone can imagine, it doesn't exactly lend to making people happy.
No.
What? No, that always makes people happy.
I'm glad it makes sense.
Belittling them for their mental capacity is always fun.
It's not belittling. What? No.
I'm actually really glad, John, that I've started spending more time with you in the past year or so, because that's something that I want to be better at, is basically not letting people walk all over me. I've always been really bad for that, for just staying quiet. And I have been trying to work on it a lot recently. Yeah, he's well aware. But it's something that I've always felt powerless in a lot of situations.
Which is hilarious because you are, like, don't take me the wrong way, but you have way more power than most people you'll deal with. You have more physical power just by your body type. You are physically more powerful than people, and you are mentally more powerful than people. As a teacher, I'm sure you realize you have a lot more mental faculties than most people, especially a young teacher who hasn't been beat down by the system. So yes, you get walked over way too much for who you are.
Yeah. I try to be nice, and it's not always a good idea.
Right? She gets walked over.
Yeah.
Jeremy, as much as I don't want to drag him in this conversation, has kind of the same problem.
Jeremy and I are very similar people.
You really are. Jeremy's got more of the fighting Irish in him, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, he does.
I hope he's listening so we're not just talking about him while he's not... There he is.
Yeah.
No, I'm here.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
You're definitely more of the fighting Irish, but you are definitely the same. You definitely let people... I mean, it's not like an ex-girlfriend of yours shot you with an arrow or anything. Literally.
No, that never happened.
Sorry, that never happened, literally. Never happened, literally.
No, that would be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous.
It'd be ridiculous. That's not in the newspaper.
Yeah.
That was the thing that
No, it's not a red flag in Insanieac because it never happened. Jeremy never got shot by an ex-girlfriend with an arrow and then continued to live with her and date her. Never happened.
Nope, never.
Never
Actually,
happened.
it didn't happen exactly like that. There were 6 months between us getting back together and me being shot.
But it never happened. This is all conjecture. This is all conjecture. Jeremy, I'm trying to give you some leeway here. Don't take it away from me.
No, I'm stupid.
If you wear rose-colored glasses, nothing's a red flag.
All right, let's turn this topic on its head. What's the first altercation anyone's ever gotten in? Sarah, I'm gonna be a little easier on you and say first altercation you got into a screaming match with, because I would think that would be as close as fighting for you. A screaming match yet you know you should win.
I think the only screaming matches I've really been in were with my brother.
Oh, that's good. Family
I mean,
fighting.
as children, we we screamed at each other all the time. We hated each other as kids. We get along great now. He's my best friend, but as kids, we hated each other's guts.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
What about you, Caden? Your first fight?
I don't remember.
Well, that's kind of the idea. Is you go back as far as you can
I'm
remember.
thinking, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah, right? It's hard on the spot.
None of them were really fights per se.
Really? I have two.
My brother and I once yelled at each other so bad in the car that my mom made us get out and walk home. We were not close either.
I have two. I can't remember which one was first. There was one on New Year's where I was a 6-year-old kid and me and this other kid got into a huge fight and he actually if I remember, he actually suplexed me and I got knocked out. Because all I heard was the TV sound of zoop, and then I woke up a couple seconds later. But I can't remember if that one was my first fight or in grade 3. Yeah, that would be grade 3. This one kid who was beating up two of my friends, and so I ran in to join, and this kid laid me on my ass and beat up all three of us. And he wasn't like a bunch, like this was in elementary. Like I think this kid was like in grade 4. Like he was only a year older than us. Beat the fuck out of us. Like just beat the crap out of us. And that one of those was our first fights. It's my first fight. Yeah. I got punched in the nose and started crying. That was in grade 3. Yeah. I mean, one of the ones I remember is going back to that kid that bullied me in junior high. One day I got so mad at him and he had braces. And I was a big kid and this kid was like literally 1/5 my size. And eventually I got so sick of it after school. And don't get me wrong, I'm not proud of anything I'm about to say. But I kicked him in the nuts and then proceeded to kick in his teeth. Kicked him right in. Oh, yeah. All his teeth bent in. Didn't come to school for 3 days. Had to get a bunch of dental work done. The day he comes back to school, sits down beside me, and it's like there was nothing. Just keeps fucking making fun of me. I remember like sitting and putting my face in my hands being like, how? Like, I'm almost impressed at this kid's ability to be like, oh, well, whatever, I'll just keep making fun of him.
Just sticking to his guts.
I just remembered, my one physical, it wasn't a fight, but, altercation I ever had with someone. Mm-hmm. I was in grade 6, so I was, 11.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I had really long fingernails. I really hated cutting them. I've always had weird, sensory issues. So I had these really long fingernails, and this one girl in my class was really bothering one of my friends. It was after school, and she was just, I don't remember what she was doing, but my friend was so annoyed with her, and she just would not stop.
Yes.
So I just grabbed this girl by the wrist, and I just dug my fingernails into her wrist.
Oh.
And she was holding on to my friend.
Oh.
I just held her until she let go.
There was no... I was hoping for the cat scratch across the face.
No.
Meow.
But I did leave, little indents on her. There was definitely a sign that I had done it.
Oh, my God.
Apparently the story she told was that she was bleeding and gushing blood. She was not, but yeah, that was my one fight.
I remember back when I was in grade 6 or 7-ish. It would be grade 7, because that's when we were allowed to leave the campus.
For me, it was 11.
Yeah.
No fair.
We would go to the 7-Eleven or the Subway.
You guys, what? You guys wouldn't just leave in lunchtime? Ever since I was in grade 4, I left at lunch.
Grade 7 was the limit. You had to be in grade 7 or older to be able to leave school grounds during lunch.
For my school, it was grade 11, but also for both schools that I went to, they were in the middle of nowhere. There was nowhere you could go unless you could drive.
No, my school, at 10 years old, me and my friends would fucking, during lunch hour, just piss off from the school grounds and never heard a damn thing about it.
They just didn't want you back.
As long as we were back in time at 1 o'clock for the next period, they never cared. When we were late, they'd care, but we were rarely late for that exact reason.
But yeah, so there was a fight that took place during a lunch period, and then a bunch of people brought out their phones and started filming and everything.
Did they start screaming World Star?
No, this was way before that, John.
That's right. You're young enough that people had phones in high school.
World
Yeah.
Star.
No,
World
it wasn't
Star.
even high school. It was junior high at the earliest.
If they're not yelling World Star, I don't know what's wrong with your school.
It was a science school.
Insanieac says, my elementary school, you had to have a note from your parents that we're going home for lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems pretty normal.
That's that never happened with my school.
Actually, now
schools,
you just can't leave. All the doors are locked all the time. Schools are basically in lockdown just continuously. It kind of sucks.
Why?
Makes sense though.
Because of COVID?
They just are. Like legitimately, schools, all the doors are locked all the time. Maybe the office doors are open during the day, but probably not.
I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, keep those little bastards in the schools.
And what looks from the inside?
Yes, keep them inside. It's safe for them. Yes. How about, so the people who have fought before, so like me, Jeremy, and Caden, you guys ever been jumped? I know.
Yes, actually.
I know Jeremy just kind of talked about one, but have you ever been like jumped?
280-pound linebacker.
Oh.
Well, no way. Me too.
Maybe it was the same person.
Wait.
Was supposed to be my friend.
Okay, please continue.
Too funny. That's another story about an ex who basically got me beat up by.
Was it also on your birthday?
No, that one was around New Year's.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. But they say I date crazy girls.
It's just after. No, I've got a list. Man. It's real bad. I've got like 2 normal girls on my list. That's it.
That's horrible.
Well, it shouldn't be that way because you are an awesome person.
Why not surprised?
And I just like advocate you right now, like girls, if you're listening, Jeremy's awesome. Dude.
Isn't that the greatest thing when you're
right? Apparently,
when your friends tell you, "But you're awesome. You're so great." If I wasn't married, I'd totally date you. But I'm married, so don't even think about it.
That is a bit of an issue.
Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome. I wouldn't date you if I wasn't married. I still think you're awesome, but I wouldn't date you.
Yeah, no, that's the common consensus. That's why I'm stuck with the crazy ones.
I'd be a big spoon for you, Jeremy.
The normal ones realize I'm a little off there, I think.
No, you're pretty cool.
So what are you about there?
That'd be cool. I'd still them off.
Fair.
So what about you there, Greasy? Did you ever get jumped? I heard you say 250-pound linebacker. I meant jumped, not jumped.
Yes. No, jumped.
Ah. Because, I mean, either way, but...
I'd gone to I think it was either like Forest or one of those bad schools.
Hey, I went to Crescent.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about Crescent. Crescent's pretty bad too, though.
Well, I mean, you can't say Fowler and Forest without saying Crescent.
Well, I was at Fowler.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Please go. Forest was not the worst. That's actually a misconception. The worst was Francis Xavier, the Catholic school. Oh yeah, man. Trust me. I have lots of friends from Forest, and like it was bad. The Catholic school by Marlborough there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the worst. That was always the worst. That is the worst in the city. That being said, please continue.
Why is it always Catholic schools?
Because they're repressed.
You should see the Christian ones. They're just.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not saying it wasn't Insaniac, but I'm telling you, I've done my rounds when I was in high school to all the other schools, and the scariest one was always going to Francis. Anyway, please continue.
But yeah, right. We had gone there right before a game, so we were like all like suited up and everything.
You played rugby, right?
I played rugby and football.
Oh, that's right.
I was a big kid.
What did you play as? Just for football, what did you play as?
I was defensive lineman. I was big boy.
I was center. But please continue.
So, anyways, one guy from the forest team, I think it was, just came up and just tried to like start a fight, and then eventually more of them showed up, and then more, and then we weren't allowed to play.
Wait, what team were you playing for?
I was playing for Fowler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
It went downhill after I left. There were 3 different dumpster fires after I left.
Literal dumpster
Literally.
No, literal.
Literal
like,
dumpster fires.
They went out to the back where the dumpsters were.
I heard about
threw,
that.
Like fires, or like threw fire in it.
That's fantastic.
I heard about that.
I
Yes.
obviously don't recommend doing that, but it's kind of hilarious.
And then there were also fires in the toilets.
Fire.
That one I was there for. It wasn't me though.
The worst thing that happened at my school that I had no hand in, truly, I had no hand in this, was my friends, though. We broke the back of one of the lockers into the old part of the wall of the school, and we started dumping food down there all year. And then my friends went and bought 14 full-size herrings. Full-size herrings. And then took permanent marker and wrote 1 to 14 on each of them. And put number 14 right in front of the office. And then hid the other 13 around the school. And we made it a scavenger hunt for the janitors. Like, we put one in the light fixture. That one they found pretty quick because it started to smell real bad real quick. That was number 4. There was one in the drama room. There was one... There was a couple. Well, I didn't. I had no part in this, but my friends, they hid a bunch of herrings everywhere. It was kind of hilarious.
I want to hope that the janitors that were cleaning this up had a really good sense of humor and actually had fun that day and were like, something new to do.
They used to sell us drugs, so I'm pretty sure they probably just went out to the roof, got high like they usually do, and then proceeded to hunt down herrings.
That's unfortunate. Hunting herrings through the school could have actually been fun.
I think
a little red herring hunt.
But that's what I mean. That's what it was. It was a red herring hunt. And we think the janitors had a great time because they just get high on the roof. Like
they should have numbered it up to 15 and just skipped one number at random.
We thought about that, but at the same time, considering we stuffed one into a wall behind a locker that they never found. I mean, it's bad enough at that point. At that point, you're just putting salt in the wound.
Yeah, true.
I took part in the senior prank. There were 2 when I was graduating.
Okay.
The first one was everyone would print off pictures of the principal. And we would all just like tape them wherever we could.
That's awesome.
And just leave it. And no one knew where they came from originally.
That's funny.
That's actually hilarious.
The other was we had like it wasn't herring, unfortunately, but it was like rubber ducks.
Oh.
And we just threw them all over the school, like numbered and everything. But we were missing one number.
There we go.
To this day, there's probably still a duck that no one knows about.
That's funny.
There's one thing we did kind of to keep with the topic of fighting in high school. Me and my friends, we were 80, like literally about 80 or so kids that were all metalheads. And we were football, like some of us played football like me, some of us were in different sports teams. Like we were literally an amalgamation of a bunch of different, what you would call cliques. And then we just kind of hung out together. But there were we called them plastics when I went to school. They're just, like prep girls, right? And I had a couple interactions with them over the years, being a football player. But one of my favorite things was one year at the beginning of the year in grade 12. We're sitting down because the way our school is set up is the cafeteria is right in the center, and it's this giant open area with a bunch of like giant fucking the old shitty cafeteria tables. And so we're all sitting at a table, And these girls come over, and they decide to come over and tell us, like, just so you guys know, this is our table now. You guys can find somewhere else to sit. We're just going to be sitting. And they went true to their word. Every day, like, they'd always have a girl there through every period, like, taking up this table. So we were like, well, fuck you too. So our one friend, genius he was sitting in class, and I was with him at the time. It was English 30. And he's sitting there, and he's eating a bag of grapes. A little sandwich bag full of grapes. And I watch him, like, our buddy just, like, when the teacher walked out, filled up a bag and just kind of popped it. So my buddy kind of looks at his bag, fills up his bag, puts in a corner, and you can still do this, anyone who's listening, it works wonders. You just put it in a corner, so you have a filled up little sandwich bag, zip it closed, it's like nice little pull-in, push in the corner, put a grape in the corner. And then he proceeded to smash it. The grape shot like a rocket. Right across the room, dead straight, smashed into the wall and exploded. All of a sudden, we have an idea. So, next day, we have told everyone about this. Imagine 80 kids showing up with bags of grapes. And so, we even brought extra bags. So, we sit down at a new table. All of us sit down. Fill up our bags, put in the grapes, and we wait for these girls to walk by. And they do. They all walk by in a group. And as soon as we do, just to be dicks, we yell, "Fire!" And we all jump up and smash these bags. And it was literally a hail of grapes just rained across these girls in the walls. And we had never tested this on ourselves. They left welts. Oh, did they leave welts. And some of these girls were wearing skirts. And, like, they fucking got pelted. And never again did we have a problem. and you know what? We had a problem with no one else that year. We actually had a great year. Because this was like September, October this happened. And honestly, like, no one is like... I remember saying it like a couple months later, like, man, we made a statement. Like, no one's going to fuck with us because we're just going to shower them with grapes.
Refer to your group as the Grapes of Wrath.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, none of us got suspended for that or nothing. The principal at the time just came out, saw what we did, and then came over and talked to us all, and we told him what happened, and he just looked at us and shrugged. And then I got suspended 2 weeks later because I pulled a chair out for one of my friends and they fell on the ground. Literally, in front of him. And he's like, "That's not very nice, Jonathan. Meet me in my office." And then I got suspended for 2 days. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, you don't suspend us for literally setting up a firing squad for these girls, but you will suspend me without question if I pull a chair from one of my friends. Fuck you.
Interesting choices there.
Sounds about right.
Oh, it was so rough. It was so stupid. But I remember going home and telling my parents why I was suspended too. And they're like, "Really?" And they got a call and they talked to my principal about it. My dad just looked at me and was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." And I'm like, "I know. They're hampering my education because I pulled a chair out from someone."
I've never understood the point of suspensions. Either the kid doesn't want to be at school and boom, they get a day off, or the kid wants to be educated and now they're making it harder for them to be educated.
In some cases too, they're like, they act out because they're abused at home.
I was gonna say it might be like
you don't really want to send that kid home anyway.
It might be a double-edged sword because if you send the kid home, like, the point is now inconvenience the parents, and they usually the disciplinary action may be doubled at that point. I think that's the hope, is you suspend someone, then the disciplinary action at home will be doubled.
Maybe.
If that means that old daddy pulls out the belt and whips you till you were a good boy, I mean, the school doesn't care at that point. You're outside school grounds.
The school does care. They are legally obligated to care. They are legally obligated to care.
I'm not going to argue that they're not legally obligated to care, Sarah, but that doesn't mean they care.
Yeah, that's what I just said too. They're supposed to care.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Your dad viewed all your shenanigans as justified. The only time my parents ever gave me a pass was same year, grade 12. My little sister was getting bullied in junior high. My little sister is a sweetheart, and she'd come home crying every day. Every day. And I'm a fucking metalhead. And I'm like, are you and she tells me, Jonathan, don't do anything about it. Jonathan, I don't need to. So one day she comes home crying, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, Olivia. What time are you done school tomorrow? And she's like, oh, I'm done this. I'm like, I'm going to come and pick you up from school, and we'll take you home so you don't have to ride the bus with this piece of shit. That was a lie. So I show up, and I grab my 5 scariest friends. And it's super easy to convince them. I tell them what's going on. I tell them I need a car. And within 5 seconds, I got 5 other people with me. We show up to her school. And we all stand in front of the buses. All black. A bus driver comes over and asks me what I'm doing. Oh, I'm here to pick up my sister. Oh, okay. Who's your sister? Oh, it's this person. Oh, okay. Oh, she's nice. Bell rings, we're standing out there, and I couldn't have asked for a better scenario. My little sister walks out of the school, and she's in tears as this little piece of shit is just berating her. Like, just laying into her. And my little sister is such a good person. She stopped crying, looked me in the eye, looked at the kid, grabbed him on the shoulders, and told him to run.
Wow.
And he's like, he just stopped, looked at her, didn't know what to do. And then she's like, you need to run now. And by the time she said that, I picked up the kid and I walked around the corner with him. And I did not lay a hand on him. I just picked him up. I sat him down and I said with my buddies behind me, I said, dude, that's my little sister. Consider this a warning. Because next time, there won't be a warning. And I got up, and we left. And immediately, there's a principal out there yelling at me, all this stuff. I just leave. Me and my friends just get in the car and leave. I get home. No cops or nothing, by the way. Like, no one called the cops, which just blows my mind. But,
that's surprising.
Yeah, no, like, no one called the cops. Because I didn't do anything. I just talked to this kid. I literally talked to this kid. And I think what saved me when I was talking about this to my parents was I did this in front of all the bus drivers and all the parents. They watched as this kid was berating my little sister. So I think I had the backing of every single goddamn parent. Anyway, so I told this kid, I go home. Of course, my parents have gotten a call from her school. I've been banned from the premises. And they tell me, and I tell them straight up what happened. And like, my friends are still out in the car. And like, and my little sister's there, and she's like, and it was her, and she's like, she goes upstairs. And then all of a sudden, as soon as she gets out of sight, my dad turns around as he's about to walk away, and he just looks at me. He's like, good job, son. Gives me a pat on the back and says, go have fun. And I just look at him like, anytime. And I fucking walk out and go have a good night with my friends.
How old were you at the time?
I was 18. So I could have been prosecuted.
Wow. You could have been
Oh, yeah. I took a chance. But, like I said, I never laid a hand on him. I just picked him up, moved him around so I could talk with him, and I told him. Now, what I didn't hear until way later, which makes me even more happy, is my little sister then went to high school the following year. And a bunch of her friends from her junior high went with her. And she had a great high school life. Like, absolutely fantastic compared to junior high. And she found out at a party that the only reason no one messed with her is because they thought that I was part of a gang. And so when she told me that, me and her just started laughing because through proxy, I accidentally had, like, not just did I set this guy straight, she had the greatest high school life because all the gangsters treated her like gold and she never understood why. It's amazing. All right. Anyone else have anything else to add?
I don't like fighting people, and I wish people would all be nice to each other. Can we just have that?
Anyone have anything else that's actually like legitimate to reality to add?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not okay to fight people unless you're provoked. Then it's self-defense.
No. It's not okay to fight. That's the end of it. If you can
Yes.
beat them with your words, do that and walk away. That's really, if you should take anything away from that. Like,
Self-defense in a
Look,
legitimate
like,
situation.
just so we're clear, I have never been proud of any of the actual fights I get into. I tell people these stories so that they know not be as dumb as me. So, if anything, don't be stupid. Because if you if you go back and listen to my stories, I did not win a lot of my fights. I usually got the shit kicked out of me. And for what? For being a dumb shit. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Yeah. On that note, I think we're good. Right? I think we're good.
No, we're not.
Nothing's good. We're villains.
That being said, thank you.
Or it's extra good.
That's
Because we're
true.
monologuing.
Yeah.
Giving time for the good guy to stop us.
That being said,
I mean, we can't get to do it all over again.
thank you, everyone who was watching today. Like we had almost 10 viewers at one point. Like, awesome. Thank you all. Like, I'm sorry you had nothing better to do, but I'm glad you spent it here. I am C4. Beside me is Sarah Vike. Further down is the Great Grease Goblin. Below him is Sir Jeremy.
Goblin.
And in the chat, and
Start calling you
soon
the Great Grease Hemogoblin.
the soon to be in back in voice, and will be moving again because I think that's starting to become like a trend with him. Is Insaniac. Please follow us.
He'll be back soon.
I say he moves every 8 episodes.
Yeah, that's usually about it. Actually. So
Allegedly.
please follow, like and follow the channel. We have a YouTube. It's just look up the Villains Talk Show and subscribe there if you want to watch previous episodes. Insaniac. Just type his name into Twitch. He has his own Twitch.
Make sure you get the in the right place.
And we also have this great
Put the E in the wrong place.
this great app called justlikeness.com. It's the greatest app you'll ever download. It is the mantra of our. It is how we reach the people. Is this app? It is the greatest app. Just download it. Justlikeness.com. That being said, other people you should follow. I just found this great channel on YouTube called Brew. Go check him out. He does like the weirdest and darkest facts. It's great.
Check out Corpse Husband for scary or creepypastas.
Ooh, Corpse Husband's actually pretty good.
Or Corpse Husband also decimates everybody at Among Us, and nobody knows why he's so good.
Ooh, interesting.
There's also Disguised Toast. Disguised Toast is pretty good at stuff. Ooh, Comics Explained and Comic Historian.
Yeah, Comics Explained.
And Comics Historian is great.
Masco X if you like Dragon Ball Abridged. Or Possibility Stories.
Man, I've been watching so many Abridged again. Like Goblin Slayer Abridged from Grimjack. Grimjack! Oh, Grimjack! Go watch Grimjack. I don't know what channel that is. That is just a bunch of letters and numbers, but it's in the chat for everybody. I
have no idea.
I don't know either. There's also the Skyblivion. That's right. Love Skyblivion.
Skyblivion. Is that coming out soon?
It's pretty. They did an update. I can't think of who else to promote.
Mr. Creepypasta.
If you like sports and you're one of the people like me, 5 Points videos, Urinating Tree, Tom Grossi, and That's Good Sports. All good comedy sports channels.
Another creepypastas is Lazy Masquerade.
Ooh, yeah, actually, he's really good. I mean, there's always Cry. There's There's Cry. I mean, Cry is the greatest creepy.
Cry and Lazy work together quite a bit, though.
I love Cry. All right, that being said, I hope you all have a great Wednesday. I'll see you all the Sunday. We all will. We don't know what Sunday's topic will be, but Wednesday is going to be Risk.
Things.
We're playing Risk on Wednesday. Be ready for Risk.
We will
We're
dominate.
really taking a risk here.
You know what? That was not funny.
It's always funny.
You know what else is funny?
World domination?
No, that's serious, Sarah.